Computer software, programming languages, and program development. To present our topic about classification of software, programming languages, program development process. What is computer software? Software comprises the entire set of programs, procedures, and routines associated with the operation of a computer system. What is programming language? A programming language is a formal language comprising a set of strings that produce various kinds of machine code output. Programming languages are one kind of computer language and are used in computer programming to implement algorithms. Most programming language consists of instruction of computers. What is program development? Program development, the process of creating application programs. Programs development life cycle, the process containing the 5 phases of programs development. Analyzing, designing, coding, debugging, and testing, and implementing and maintaining application software. Classification of software. The term software refers to the set of electronic program instructions or data a computer processors read in order to perform a task or operation. In contrast, the term hardware refers to the physical components that you can see and touch, such as computer hard drive, mouse, and keyboard. Software instructions that tell a computer what to do. Software comprises the entire set of programs, procedures, and routines associated with the operation of a computer system. The term was coined to differentiate this instruction from hardware. The physical components of a computer system, a set of instructions that directs a computer's hardware to perform a task, is a called program or software program. Magkaiba ang software ng computer sa physical na bahagi nito, ang hardware. Kailangan ng software at hardware ang isa't isa at hindi mo talaga sila magagamit kung wala ang isa. Ang salitang software ay ginagamit din minsan na mas mababaw na kahulugan na may ibig sabihin ay application software. The two main types of software are system software and application software. System software controls a computer's internal functioning chiefly through an operating system and also controls such as peripheral as monitors, printers, and storage devices. Application software, by contrast, direct the computer to execute commands given by the user and may be said to include any programs that process data for a user. Application software thus includes word processors, spreadsheet, database management, inventory and payroll programs, and many other applications. A third software category is that of the network software, which coordinates communication between the computers linked in a network. Software is typically stored on an internal long-term memory device, such as hard disk or magnetic diskette. When the program is used, the computer reads it from the storage device and temporarily places the instruction in random access memory. The process of storing and then performing the instruction is called running or executing a program. By contrast, software programs and procedures that are permanently stored is a computer's memory using a reading only. Technology are called firmware or hardware software. Yung application software, isang halimbawa ng word processor na Microsoft Word na nagproproseso ng mga salita at titik para sa mga dokumentong teksto. Yung software system or software ay uri ng software na namamahala at gumagabay sa mga gawain ng sistemang computer tulad ng hardware at interface sa pagitan ng application software at ng computer. Different types of software. System software. A system software aids the user and the hardware to function and interact with each other. Basically, it is software to manage computer hardware behavior so as to provide basic functionalities that are required by the user. In simple words, we can say that system software is an intermediator or a middle layer between the user and the hardware. The computer software sanctions a platform or environment for the other software to work in. This is the reason why system software is very important in managing the entire computer system. When you first turn on the computer, it is the system software that gets initialized and gets loaded in the memory of the system. The system software runs in the background and is not used by the end users. This is the reason why system software is also known as low level software. Operating system. It is the most prominent example of system software. It is a collection of software that handles resources and provides general services for the other applications that run over them. Although each operating system is different, most of them provide a graphical user interface through which a user can manage the files and folders and perform other tasks. Every device, whether a desktop, laptop, or mobile phones, requires an operating system to provide the basic functionality to it. As an US as essentially determines how an user interacts with the system. Therefore, many users prefer to use an specific US OS for their device. There are various types of operating systems such as real-time, embedded, distributed, multi-user, single-user, internet, mobile, and many more. It is important to consider the hardware specification before choosing an operating system. So, ang operating system yung nagbibigay ito ng pundasyon upang makapagpatakbo ng application software gaya ng mga programang word processor at web browser. Then mga kakilalang operating system ang GNU, Linux at BSD ay mga malayang software. Ito yung mga malayang software. Device drivers. It is a type of software that controls particular hardware which is attached to the system. Hardware that need a driver to connect to a system include displays, sound card, printers, mic, and hard disk. Further, there are two types of device driver: kernel device driver and user device driver. Some example of device driver are BIOS driver, display drivers, motherboard drivers, printer drivers, ROM drivers, sound card drivers, USB drivers, VGA drivers, virtual device drivers. So, kernel device drivers ay isang mahalagang device driver or system driver at OS program driver ng kahit anong version ng Microsoft Windows. Firmware, the permanent software that is embedded into a read-only memory. It is a set of instructions permanently stored on a hardware device. It provides essential information regarding how the device interact with other hardware. Firmware can be considered as semi-permanent as it remains permanent unless it is updated using a firmware updater. Some examples of firmware are BIOS, computer, peripherals, consumer applications, embedded system, and UEFI. So, ito ang mga nakatalaga at nagpapaandar sa iba't ibang kasangkapang elektronika mula sa mga remote control, calculator, mga bahagi ng computer gaya ng hard disk at keyboard, LCD at mga memory card. Programming language translators. There are imaginators program on which software programs relate to translate high-level language code to simpler machine-level code. Besides simplifying the code, the translator will also do the following: assign data storage in less source code as well as program details, offer diagnostic reports, rectify system errors during the runtime. Example of program language translator are interpreter, compiler, and assembler. Utility. Utility software is designed to aid in analyzing, optimizing, configuring, and maintaining a computer system. It supports the computer infrastructure. This software focuses on how an OS functions, and then accordingly it decides its trajectory to smoothen the functioning of the system. Softwares like antiviruses, disk cleanup and management tools, compression tools, defragmenters, etc. are all utility tools. Some examples of utility tools are Avast Antivirus, Directory Opus, McAfee Antivirus, Piriform Cleaners, Razer, Cortex, Windows File Explorer, WinRAR, WinZip. Application software. Application software, also known as end-user programs or productivity programs, are software that helps the user in completing tasks such as doing online research, jotting down notes, settings an alarm, deciding graphics, keeping an account log, doing calculation, or even playing games. They lie above the system software. Unlike system software, they are used by the end user and are specific in their functionality or task and do the job that they are designed to do. For example, a browser is an application designed specifically for browsing the internet. For MS PowerPoint is an application used specifically for making presentation. Application software or simply apps can also be referred to as non-essential software, as their requirements is highly subjective and their absence does not affect the functioning of the system. All the apps that we need on our mobile phones are all example of application software. There is certain software that is exclusively made for app development like Meteor and Flutter. These are example of application software too. There are various type of application software. Word processors. This application for the this application for documentation along with that it also help storing, formatting and printing of these documents. Ito yung isang application na nagbibigay sa user ng mga tools na kinakailangan upang magsulat at mag-edit at mag-format ng teksto at upang ipadala ito sa isang printers. Then, some example of word processor are Abby Word, Apple iWork Page, Corel, Word Perfect, Google's Docs, MS Word. Database software. This software is used to create and manage a database. It is also known as the Database Management System or DBMS. They help with the organization of data. Ito yung ginagamit para sa paglikha, pag-edit at pagpapanatili na ng mga file at talaan ng database. Some example of DBMS are Clipper, DBase, FileMaker, FoxPro, MX, Axis, MySQL. And multimedia software. It is the software that is able to play, create or record image, audio or video file. They are used for video editing, animation, graphics, and image editing. Some example of multimedia software are Adobe Photoshop, Inkscape, MediaMonkey, Picasa, VLC Media Player, Windows Media Player, Windows, and Windows Movie Maker. Education and reference software. This type of software are specifically designed to facilitate learning on particular subject. There are various kind of tutorial software that fall under this category. There are also termed as academic software. Ito yung particular na idisenenyo upang mapadali ang mga pag-aaral sa particular na paksa. Then ito yung mga some example. Delta Drawing, G-Compress, Jump Start Titles, KidPix, MindPlay, TaxPaint. Graphic software. As the name suggests, graphic software has been devised to work with graphics as it helps the user to edit or make changes in visual data or image. It comprises of picture editors and illustration software. Ito ay anumang uri ng software na maaring magamit upang lumikha, mag-edit at pamahalaan ang 2D graphic computer. Some example are Adobe Photoshop, Autodesk Maya, Blender, Carrara, Corel Draws, GIMP Modo, and etc. Web browser. These applications are used to browse the internet. They are help the user in locating and retrieving data across the web. Ito yung palagi nating pinagsesearchan ng sagot, ganun. For example, of web browser are Google Chrome, Internet Explorer, Microsoft Edge, Mozilla, Firefox, Opera, Safari, US browser. Other than this, all the software that serve a specific purpose fall under the category of application software. However, there exists on more classification of the software. The software can also be classified based on their availability and shareability. This classification is given below. Fairware. Fairware software is available without any cost. Any user can download it from the internet and use it without paying any fee. However, freeware does not provide any liberty for modifying the software or charging a fee for its distribution. Ito yung parang sa Play Store, marami tayong dina-download dun na walang bayad. Then example is Adobe Readers, Audacity, EMG Burn, Recova, Skype, TeamViewer, Yahoo Messenger. Shareware. It is software that is freely distributed to user on trial basis. It usually comes with a time limit, and when the time limit expires, the user is asked to pay for the continued service. There are various types of shareware like adware, donationware, nagware, freemium, and demoware. Some example of shareware are Adobe Acrobat, GetRight, PHP Debugger, and WinZip. Open source. This kind of software are available to user with the source code, which means that a user can freely distribute and modify the software and add additional feature to the software. Open source software can either be free or chargeable. Some example of open source software are Apache Web Server, GNU Compiler Collection, Moodle, Mozilla Firefox, Thunderbird software. They are also known as closed source software. This type of application are usually paid and have intellectual property rights or patent over the source code. The use of this is very restricted, and usually the source code is preserved and kept as a secret. Ito daw yung pag ginamit or what is yung iniingatan at inilihim. Example is yung parang ikaw sa jowa mo, ganon.